Hi friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you how I packed the whole house for our move. If you're watching our weekly update of our new construction house, you know that we're moving into our new house. So that's it, let's jump into packing. First we'll need some little box or containers, some tape, some scissors to color code boxes, some Sharpies or pencils, some rubber bands, some box cutter, some sticky notes, some cleaning cloth, some Ziploc bags different sizes. You'll see it in a minute why we need these. And some plastic wrap. And of course some garbage bags and larger bags. Since we have a hardwood floor, I wanted to dust it just to make sure I don't damage it before I put a cloth. This is just the old bedsheet cloth. I always start with the kitchen because this is the longest and hardest to pack. I open all the drawers and cabinets and start taking all the dishes out. Take a few minutes and go through your dishes, appliances. Make sure there's no cracks or broken or missing parts. It's almost like a quick declutter. And the ones that you like and decided to keep, just take them out into the area and start putting on the cloth. So that way it's easier to see what needs to be wrapped. I always pack and wrap stuff as I go. Items that has grease or oil over them, cover in a clear wrap before packing it into a box. That way you won't stain anything. When it comes to food packing, you might want to use small boxes and pack condiments with condiments, spices with spices. It will ease your unpacking later. You'll know exactly that everything is in one box. Check for expiration date. You don't want to move anything that is expired. It will take up space and you'll still end up getting rid of it once you'll get to your new house. And friends, I got myself some label makers, so stay tuned for upcoming DIY. So for now, I put all the utensils in one box and then I'll add packaging paper in between later. And once you're done with a drawer or cabinet and it's empty, you might want to use a sticky note. It will help you to see that this drawer or cabinet it's empty. You don't have to go back to it multiple times. So just put a sticker and it's good to go. Anything that stays with the house, like remote controls, manuals, keys, just dedicate one drawer and put everything in one drawer. Anything that is battery operated. Even if you're moving local, it's always a good idea to take those batteries out. Believe me, we've been moving almost every year and things do happen. We had a wall clock, the battery exploded right in front of our eyes, so safety number one. Moving on to gym room / guest room, clean and dust items as you go. Of course, don't forget to take a break and have a little fun while packing. So I start bringing everything out into this area. Packing home items and furniture can be challenging because not everything you can pack into a box. Like in this case, artificial tree, that's when those Ziploc bags comes in. I put moss into a Ziploc bag. Using my new item, I'm testing this duster. Dust and clean items before packing. Believe me, that is the last thing you will want to do once you get to your new place. You'll be tired unpacking and there are other things that might come up. So it's always a good idea to take your time and just do it now. To pack trees, gently tie leaves and branches together. Cover it with a large bag. If you don't have a large bag, just use a clear wrap. Just wrap it around and secure it with a tape. Since we're selling the house, I needed to decide what items, what decorations will stay with the house during the selling process. I decided to leave this clock as a decoration piece while the house will be on market. Start packing off-season clothes in advance. This clothes you won't be using in another couple of months. Take a large garbage bag, then slip it over the stack of hanging clothes and tie the bag to secure your clothes inside and to keep dirt out. And don't forget to label it. It will be very helpful. Once you'll get to your new place, you'll know exactly which bag to open first. It's always a good idea to disassemble and take apart some items and furniture. Just remember that something you take apart, place all the screws and other items into a Ziploc bag and keep it or tape it to the furniture or item itself. This shoe rack that I have, it's made out of metal, but I still wanted to wrap it in a paper just to protect from scratching and making noise during the traveling. Something that I learned with our every move is label it, label it, and label it. Even if you know what's in the box or the package, the person who lives with you might want to know too. So next time you ask your husband to bring a shoe rack or some sort of box, make sure he knows which one you're talking about. Another very helpful what I have found with every move is to have a notepad where you can write a box number and all the details of items instead of writing it on a box, and just write only the number with the letter on the box, and that's it. And what else I did, I took a picture of everything what's in the box. So I lay flat next to the box so you can see the box with the number. I easily can find that in my notepad. And then looking back at the picture, I can say exactly what kind of cutting board or how many there are in that box. For me, it works very well because I won't have time to open all of these boxes right away. So I can go back to these pictures and open only the boxes, the most important ones, and open the rest of the boxes throughout the week. I normally pack all of my cutting boards, baking sheets, and trays into one large box. Of course, layering some packaging material in between, or use kitchen towels, or like in here I'm just using a drying mat as a packaging material. When you're packing and moving everything yourself, make sure not to lift any heavy items. And in here, I'll share how you can pack home appliances or items without lifting. It's always a good idea to have original boxes, but if you don't, you can customize your own box. And here I have original box that came with this heater. This is just a small heater. And you can see that I'm not lifting, I'm just putting a box upside down and pushing it down. And next thing you know, I just flip it and it's good to go. As I already mentioned it's always a good idea to clean and wash items before packing. Here I'm just using a top to clean all the containers, dividers, and organizers. Books are heavy, so the best way to pack them is to use the smallest boxes you can find. In our case, we do have a lot of textbooks, and they are thick and heavy. So when I stack about 5 to 7 books together, that will be already 10 to 15 pounds per box. Of course, it depends on the thickness of the books. So that is something to consider when packing books. Another thing to remember is to turn everything off, like appliances, decoration, lights, etc. In this case, I do have candle that is battery operated, so I turn it off and take batteries out before packing. To move canisters and jars, the best way is just to use small boxes. I got these from our local Walmart store. They're all the same size, and these jars fit so good in there. I will add some packaging material in between these jars. As long as you have all the boxes, it's good. Next, containers. All of these containers on the bottom, I will wash them and stack them and store them into one box. It's just easier to move that way. These containers are not stackable. They are hard to move. I'll use for food like from freezer and from fridge, and we'll use these containers to move all of the perishable food and some other food from these containers. Since I don't have much of the baking dishes, I pack them all in one box and they fit perfectly. Of course, I wrap them into paper. If you don't have packaging paper, just try to use newspaper or magazine or anything that you can find to use it as a packaging material. When packing fragile and breakable items, try to use as much packaging material as possible. Even moving local distance, these items tend to break and chip easily. And try to add extra paper or packaging material as a cushion in between dishes. And don't forget to label the box as fragile or breakable, so whoever is moving these boxes will know that there's a fragile or breakable items in this box. share some of my favorite moving boxes. I got these boxes from our local winery store, Total Wine. What I love about these boxes is that each box has this plastic clear liner inside. These boxes are good to move like perishable food or frozen food. And the best part that each box comes with its own cardboard dividers, which makes great idea for packing like wine glasses, anything that is fragile and breakable like mugs, cups, and even condiments and sauce or wine glasses or oils and vinegars. So you can see that it has its own little compartment that you can put any fragile glass items, oils, vinegars, condiments, anything that really needs some space and protection. In this case, since I have a lot of these boxes, I will use for most of it for my oils and condiments. To pack area rugs and mats, wash them, dry them, and then roll them up, secure them with the tape or rubber band, and then put them in a bag and roll them up in a bag. Normally I have 3 of these, and I would put all 3 into one bag and just roll it up again and tie it. But for the video purpose, I just did want to show you how it looks from a side. Delicate items like florals and decorations, you might want to use a slightly larger box. I pack all of the artificial greenery and flowers into one box, of course making sure there are plenty of space and packaging material in between. And when packing, be gentle with these items and don't put a lot of pressure. And it's always a good idea to use extra box if needed. You can see I gently wrap flowers into packaging foam paper and just putting it on top of the other flowers. And for extra protection, I use another piece of foam paper to cover on top. And in this case, you want to label the box very fragile. It's always a good idea to keep original boxes when it comes to expensive appliances. But if you don't, that's okay, you can customize your own box. In our case, we're moving almost every year, so for me, it's easier to keep the original box. There are certain items that cannot be disassembled or taken apart. Like in this case, I have this nightstand lamps. So I use zip ties to secure all those loose attachments, like this pull switch and wire, and just kind of secure it all together so it wouldn't move during the travel. Since this is a local move, I left all the light bulbs inside. I just cover it with the foam paper to protect. Okay, I'll quickly show you what I did so far. So I covered the light bulb. It's a local move, so that's fine. Then I use zip ties to secure the wire and the pull switch. So I wanted all of that to stay in place, so everything will stay in place during travel. Then I covered the lamp with a large bag and tied it. Then I used this thick bubble wrap and wrapped it around and secured it with a tape. I got this bubble wrap from our local dealer shop. To pack plastic storage, simply just take each drawer out of the storage container, stack them on top of each other, and place them into a box. And disassemble the storage containers. And wrap breakable items into packaging material. Disassemble the storage bin and use zip ties to secure all of those pieces together. In here I have 2 storage bins together. And you can see I use zip ties just to hold in place all of those pieces, almost like a puzzle, and then add it to this bag or large box. All of my storage containers and all of my storage drawer, all of them fit into this whole bag. And of course, make sure to label it so it wouldn't get confused with a donation or garbage. And my husband usually disassembles all the furniture. This bed been traveling with us multiple times, and it's so easy to assemble and disassemble. Moving big appliances like refrigerator, I take everything out, all those shelves, and I thoroughly wash it and clean and sanitize the refrigerator from inside out. And then I wash all of those liners, containers, and bins, and then I put them back into the refrigerator. Then I used the painter's tape and I secured all of those bins, containers, and shelves in place so it wouldn't move during the travel. It's better to do it sometimes yourself because not all movers, they do that. And if they do, they normally charge. And same thing on the back, I just taped all of those wires and tubes together just to secure all of that in place. I used a painter's tape and some zip ties. Another tip is to wash all of your clothes before moving because it might take some time to connect the washer and dryer at your new place. Before disconnecting and moving washer, I would let it run on a self-cleaning cycle. I use these all fresh cleaning tablets. It's so simple, you just throw one in inside and you run it on a self-cleaning mode. If your washer doesn't have one, you still can use it. You just run it on the longest and hottest cycle. My washer has this feature, so it shows me whenever it needs to be washed with all fresh cleaner. And once the cycle is done, let it dry out completely and only then disconnect the washer. Packing TV screens can be challenging. If you don't have original box, that's okay. In our case, we kept it because we're moving every year, so it makes our life easier to keep the original box. But if you don't have one, it's always a good idea to ask your movers if they can provide one or rent one out. You can even customize your own box, just depends on the size of your screen. If you never packed a TV screen yourself before, it's always a good idea to let movers to pack it for you. In our case, my husband normally packs all the big appliances and all the electronics around the house. Some electronics and appliances needs to be taken apart before moving, so make sure to keep all of those screws and accessories in one place with the screen or appliance. So that way once you'll get to your new place, it's easy to find and you know where it belongs to. Since we don't have the original box from the screen, my husband customized it himself. So if you do so, make sure to use a really good packaging material, extra boxes, and extra cushion and protection. Like in this case, he's using extra cardboard. And then this box, you can see we customized it too. So it has like a double, triple layer of protection inside. For time and money saving, we decided to put all of those boxes into category so it'll be easier for movers to grab and go. Finally, everything is packed and ready for moving. At first, when I started packing, I was like, oh, that's a lot of stuff. But now I look and actually I'm happy. I'm excited for this move. Yesterday, we sorted these boxes by category. Most the heaviest ones in the front, then the lighter ones, then more lighter ones, and then the fragile ones all the way right there on the back. So that will go last. Movers will know that these are the fragilest items. Then some comforters and my husband's shelves from the garage. And then this is my husband's tools. And all of our furniture will go on this side. Of course, we still have my husband's table. That's the heaviest, then treadmill, then big appliances, washer, dryer, and fridge. That's about it. So that's it for today's video. I hope I gave you plenty of tips and motivation to pack and move safely to your new place. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next videos. Bye!